So, the government's playing hardball for real, like for real, for real, for real, with these truckers. And I'll just kind of read it for you guys. So it says, if your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen. Your insurance on your vehicle will be suspended. This was said by the finance minister, Christia Freeland. And she said, send your semi trailers home. The Canadian economy needs them to be doing legitimate work. They're going to be freezing man's bank accounts and fucking their insurance. Yo, when I seen this, I laughed. I'm sorry.
I mean, the latest that I heard was something about a state of emergency that's being kicked into effect by Trudeau. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, yeah, I seen that too.
So I don't know the details of that. Do you know any details about that? Because that apparently is allowing them to do things or get temporary powers to do things that they're not normally able to do.
Well, that's the last that I seen about this. I didn't see or read anything else as far as any other progression. By the time this video comes out, I'm sure there will be an update on that because they're trying to make moves immediately. But again, we did a video the other day where we said that Ontario's lifting the mandates. March 14th, Quebec is doing the same thing. And this guy commented on this video when he said, bro, they're lifting the provincial mandates. Like the one that they're fighting for, the convoy is the federal mandates.
Right.
And
But we also had a convoy in Toronto. So I just want to make that clear to everybody else. We also had trucks that were blocking roads in
no,
Toronto as well. So that was what I was referring to.
but I mean, at the end of the day, federal, provincial, whatever, if every single province eventually lifts these mandates, doesn't that supersede a federal mandate, anyways? Keeping it trucker, okay? Getting the accounts frozen, feds coming in doing their thing. So, of course, how what's a currency that the feds can't touch, they can't infiltrate, they can't claw back? What's a currency that's really popular right now that they could utilize? Crypto, of course. So the truckers are trying to start a cryptocurrency because if they get this cracking, right, they can't touch it. And I mean, we all know, and
Classic pump and dump.
there, thank you. Some may know and some may don't. Some even just might be a little bit hip to the game. But if it's hot, sure, it'll go up and then it'll drop down immediately after. So
As soon as this thing is done, exactly.
it's over with, right? So maybe you can.
Listen, okay, so listen. Yes, you started off with talking about what was going to happen to the people during the protests now. And then we went on to talk about something completely different. Why did we do that? Why do we do things like that? Well, I find that when we find things so dumb, so idiotic, and so unnecessary that we don't even touch on them, we find something else interesting to talk about. Because the fact that they want to penalize these people further for these things, I don't know if they get it. It's not going to make them go home. You're going to be able to penalize all of these people with these things. You're going to find every single person there. So somebody is going to leave with carpal tunnel because they're going to be writing a lot of tickets. You know what
Well,
I'm saying? So stop it.
well,
Stop.
I'll tell you this: as bad as it sounds, suspending people's licenses, freezing their corporate accounts,
They
all
don't
these.
care. They don't give
As
a
bad as
fuck.
as bad as it sounds, you're on YouTube now. I ask you to go and just YouTube any BLM protests in America. So, it's not it's hey man, they're getting their accounts seized and all that. At least they ain't getting their ass whooped and arrested and killed and
That's,
killed.
that's a solid point.
So, again, I bring it all back. If this was a BLM protest, it would there's no way this would be going on for what, 3 weeks now? Not at all. Not happening. Remember when there was a thing in the States where that guy said that he was shooting up like the rub and tugs where all it was all Asian workers and it
Right.
was Asian
In
hate
Atlanta.
crimes?
Yeah.
I'm not, even if it was for Asians, this would not be lasting. No 3 weeks at all. Forget
But
about it. It's not happening.
you want to know my honest opinion on that? my honest opinion on that, and this is straight at all the black people that are watching right now. I don't think black people could ever unite in a way to do something like this, to create a disruptance like this. I don't. I don't.
I disagree.
I wholeheartedly believe that, because
Well,
if
I
it
mean,
was to happen, it would have happened already.
yeah, it
We sit
did.
here, we sit here and we talk about the injustices that happen every. Yes, the BLM protesters did have their height, their peak. George, a la George Floyd,
Yeah, there
a
you go.
la Breonna Taylor,
All right, so what are we
right?
talking about?
A la Michael Brown, right? Where are they now? Are black people still being imprisoned unequally? Are are there still laws that are in place right now that are imprisoning black people for crimes longer than white people? What is the population of the prison system? Is there still racism in the workplace?
Bro, is there still vaccine mandates?
But
Like
I'm saying
the
what
trucker
I'm
thing
trying
is
to
not
say,
gonna work.
what I'm trying to say is I'm not saying that the protests didn't do anything, because now every company wants to show how much they love black people. Great. I love it. Fantastic. Unfortunately, the greater issues that still face that plague black people on a daily basis, they still fucking exist. So we didn't change anything. Nothing really changed. The world is still carrying on. The white man is still making his money off of our backs. Everything is still happening, bro. The NFL is still able to carry on the way they carry on, and nobody's saying anything. So I don't think we can ever build something with enough force to actually do, because look at the lengths that the Canadian government has to go to. These guys have taken upon themselves to block borders, to stop money from coming in and going out. They have taken it upon themselves to say, listen, even if you do this to me, even if this, I don't care. I'm going to take the fines. I'm going to do all this, whatever, whatever. I'm not listening to you.
Yeah,
I
great.
have
What
seen,
you want to see them
I have
listen?
seen, I have seen BLM protests. I have seen them. Yes. And I've seen the things that have happened in the BLM protests. All I'm saying is it starts and it dies down, disappears.
All I'm saying is great points. All I'm saying is um all the things that still plague black people still exist even with after the protest went global for Mr. Floyd, RIP. But these vaccine restrictions and all that, all those things still exist as well. So their protests, in
For
fact,
now.
no, they still we're watching the government in front of
We're
our
watching
face.
slowly,
We're
we're watching
watching
slowly,
we're
province by
watching
province, them get rid of these
but
mandates.
we're watching the government uh bend and grease the rules, okay, to get these people out of here. And again, when you talk about the protests and what these people are doing versus the BLM protests, again, I just go YouTube a BLM protest. Let me tell you something. If cops showed up to these convoys and started licking shots and tear gassing and batting them down, yeah, they'll be gone. They'll be scattering like roaches when the lights turn on. But yeah, they would. But the difference is they're not going to do that. You know why? Because the cops look like the protesters. Because the cops look like the protesters. So that's why. That's my issue that I have here. I mean, again, protest, it's your right. I don't want to live in a country where you can't protest. All I'm trying to say is if you don't see the hypocrisy here, you're blind. That's all I'm saying. Viewing public, what are your thoughts though, man? Leave it in the comments. Do you think this is right? Should they have the right to freeze their corporate accounts, suspend their licenses? I don't think they have the right to do that. I also don't think they have the right to tear gas and beat people over the head and shoot them when they're just trying to protest for BLM either. But hey, leave it in the comments.